I'm going to talk about MCP with LitServe. To deploy a machine learning model, there are several tools like TorServe, TensorFlow Serving, PentoML. We have an open source project called LitServe. It's a modern and faster alternative, and it's completely open source. It has 3.2K stars, and you can just do pip install LitServe to install it. It's written in pure Python. It's framework agnostic, so you can serve PyTorch, TensorFlow, JAX, scikit-learn, anything you want. You can build AI agents. It's battle tested and secure, and it's open source. Without LitServe, if you serve with for example, plain fast API, you might get into global interpreter lock, which is very infamous for slowing your system down. If you have single-threaded, then it will be slow, and you might not be able to fully utilize your GPU machine. So what does LitServe offer? So it has dynamic batching, which is basically if you have a lot of requests at a time, you can group them and use the multiple cores on your GPU to process them parallelly. It has continuous batching as well. So for example, if you are serving an LLM, you can do batching in with tokens as well. It supports a synchronous API, so you can use async await if you have to make any network call. For example, if you want to make a call to OpenAI, so you won't stop block your CPU just because you are making a network call. You can do multiple model serving. Let's say if you have 3-4 models, embedding model, a large language model, chat generation model, you can serve them together with the same server. Supports streaming, and you can easily create OpenAI compatible API as well. LitServe is kind of fast API on steroids. Fast API sits on top of EVCon, and LitServe sits on top of Fast API. So if you search Fast API on steroids, you will find LitServe. It adds a lot of features for you so that you can scale your machine learning server very easily and quickly. If you have a Fast API server and you want to move to LitServe, on the left side, you can see there's a very simple scikit-learn model being loaded and served here, but it doesn't have batching. It serves with a single process, and everything is declared globally. But on the right side, you see it's well structured. You can scale it. The model is initialized in setup method, which is where you can initialize any heavy compute function or any class, and then it flows like this. So your input from the client goes into decode, which the return value goes into predict, then the return value goes into encode response, which is then returned to the client. And if you want to deploy a LitServe server, it's super easy. You can just do lightning deploy server.py:/cloud, and it will deploy to Lightning.ai. So we have a command line as well, apart from the UI, which you can use to deploy to Lightning. Now, let's talk about MCP. So MCP is kind of a new way people have been using, making use of LLMs to do function calling. It's kind of a very standardized version where you can have some kind of protocol and you can expose that to your LLM, for example, your cloud desktop, or nowadays I think Cursor, VS Code, all these IDE also supports MCP. So let's say if you have a text classification server and you want to convert that into an MCP server. This is a simple LitServe example which loads a Hugging Face sentiment analysis model. You can see here text request. It defines a field called input, which is a string. It's type hinted. It's using Pydantic, similar to if you have already used Fast API. It's just exactly like that. In the decode request, we have the type hint for text request, and then in the predict method, we just pass the input, which is ours, query from the model, query from the client. They pass it to the model and then return the response back to the client. So if you want to convert this into an MCP server, all you need to do is you import from litserve.mcp, import MCP, create an MCP object where you provide the description, name, and input schema. I'll show you more like when I show you the code, how they look like. But you attach this MCP object to the text classification API here, and then just run as usual, like no change. And this will expose an MCP server which you can connect with your cloud. So on the right side, there's a screenshot of my cloud desktop where I asked a question like to classify the sentiment, and it made a call to my LitServe server, and it got the response from the server and then generated the response based on that. So let me show you the code. So this is the same code, and let me run this. So if you go to the website of like MCP, or like just you can go to the LitServe documentation for MCP. This is how your input schema look like. This is nothing but just the pedantic type hint being converted into a nice JSON description for the LLM, like the cloud, like the MCP servers, so they can MCP clients, so they can know like what they should send. In here, Cloud was able to send this query to my server, but we need to tell the LLM, like, or the agentic system, how my server accepts the request. With that input schema, it knows that, okay, you have something called request here. You have something called input in your request, which is required, and it's of type string. There's a small description about your argument as well, which is text to analyze. It can be more complex based on your if you have a nested JSON, like very complicated input structure. So this can be like described based on that. But let's run this. So one thing about LitServe is that you can provide your input schema here, but if you don't provide it, it will try to infer it from based on the type hint, the pedantic type hint that you provide here. So it will convert that to input schema automatically for you. So let's run this thing. So to run any LitServe application, you can just do python server.py or lightning deploy server.py. Both works. Yeah, so it has created enable MCP server, and to connect it with any MCP client or like such as cloud desktop, I can copy and paste this. So let me open my cloud desktop. So to connect it, you need to click on this config here and open this file and paste your endpoint. But the thing is, you need to have this as a public endpoint. You can't paste a local endpoint here because Cloud will make a call to this endpoint. So currently I'm on my local system, but I can deploy it on Lightning and expose the URL publicly with the endpoint plugin. So what I will do is Lightning deploy devbox CPU, let's name it LitServe demo 2. This command will copy all my code from local, like my laptop, to a new Lightning Studio in a VS Code environment. So I have selected my team space from the CLI, asked my permission if I want to open my browser, yes, and so it will upload all my code in the background while it opens here. So it's a completely new studio, fresh studio, so I will need to probably install MCP. Here, this is a port viewer on the right side. If it loads 100%, it will automatically enable, like it will automatically serve 8,000, but let's do it before. Yeah, so now I will install everything, and let's do pip install requirements.txt. Actually, even faster would be uv pip install requirements.txt. So if you are not using UV, I think you definitely should use it. It's very fast. So we just released a new version of LitServe. That's why I tried to upgrade it. Now let's run this server here. I think it might take few seconds because it will download the model since it's a fresh studio. And once it's ready, all I need to do is just update my config, cloud config with the new host name. Okay, so it's running. So yeah, this is my endpoint. LitServe is running. Cool, awesome. And after this, you need to quit cloud and then restart it. So when you restart, you will find, if you click here, you can see LitServe here. So LitServe predict. Let me ask something to do. Classify. Let's see if it can send a request to our server. So as you can see, it's sending a request to my server, and it's in the same format which like LitServe accepts, like the server implementation that I showed you accepts. So I'm gonna allow once, and if you come here in the browser, you can see there is a request from cloud in the bottom, and you can see the response from the server as well, like it classified a positive sentiment. So this is how you can, like, this is just an example, but this input request typing can be as complicated you want. Like you can have a different LLM here, which is fine-tuned on your data set or like some of your private data, and ask cloud to like connect it with cloud, then cloud will have access to your like private LLM as well. So you can be creative, build something very cool, share it with us, and yeah, let us know about your feedback. That's all. Thank you so much.